Hi gents, this is Cindy, and today's video is a very special one for me, as well as very bittersweet. For those of you who follow me and watch my videos, you know that I enjoy going to Idaho during the summer months to get out of this desert heat and enjoy the mountain climate. So it's not just my husband and I that go to our Idaho cabin, but it's my husband and his brother and my sister-in-law. So it's the four of us that enjoy spending the summers together in Idaho. The four of us get along, we have fun together, and especially since we've retired, we've had more time to enjoy in Idaho. So last summer was a particularly hard summer for the four of us. My 62-year-old beautiful sister-in-law has been struggling with cancer. And last summer it was hard for us because we really saw her decline in her health. And in fact, last week she passed away, and I want to dedicate this video to her. Now the reason I call her, I'm referring to her as Sunny, is because she was the type of woman who loved the outdoors. She loved the beach. She spent time at the beach with her sister and her sister's family. She was a hiker, biker. She did river rafting. She was a camper. And she and her husband really did go on some wonderful outdoor trips together through the 25 years of their marriage. And they also shared another fun hobby, and that was they would buy old Airstream, those small Airstream trailers, and fix them up and sell them. So that was sort of something they did together that was fun. So like I said, she was adventurous. The two of us enjoyed each other's company in the cabin in Idaho because of the fact that our husbands were brothers, so different from one another, and yet in some ways so much alike. And we would get a kick out of them, and she was an avid reader. She would do needlepoint and I would knit, and we would sit on the patio together and girl talk. There was a ceramics place in town, and she was a bit artistic, and she would make you know, paint the bowls and things. Every summer she'd paint a few bowls, and I think she gave them away to her nephew or gave them as gifts. And so the two of us really did enjoy each other. It was the two of us gals with the two of these manly men. So she would watch my channel, and she had said to me more than once, her favorite video of mine, one of her favorite videos, was the one where I was channeling the 60s. And I said, really? You mean the video where I was like, had the big hair and that bright top on and that really light lipstick and the dark heavy makeup? And she said, yes, that's one of my favorite videos. So in her honor, I'm trying to recreate that 60s vibe for her by putting on the same top and trying to recreate the same makeup and hair look from the 60s. And so along with the idea of the 60s, I have Googled some fun 60s facts. Now, what I'm going to share with you comes from 1963 and 64. So to start with, one of the top male celebrities in 1964 was Terrence Stamp. Now, for those of you mid-30-year-olds to late 30-year-olds that don't know and have not heard of Terrence Stamp, you will know him because he has played the villain in all the Superman movies. So along with being a box office star in the 64, he still is sort of in the movies in a kind of a cult fun way today. Julie Christie was top box office. Julie was beautiful, dated Warren Beatty. I think is best known for her role in Dr. Zhivago. Some of the supermodels of the day were Twiggy and Jean Shrimpton. They were part of that whole swinging London scene. Some of the popular television shows were Lassie, Mr. Ed. The touch-tone phone had just come out. The first Ford Mustang had come out. The Mariner 4, which took pictures of Mars, had been released. And some of the fashions for women were the duster dress. That was an A-line dress that came to our knees. Did not have to be sleeveless, but often was. Sometimes had a little Peter Pan collar, buttoned or snapped down the front. Stretch pants and capris were in. The little shirt dress with the buttons down the front to the waist and a very slender, slim belt, and then the skirt flared out. That was a very popular dress in 63, 64. Let's see, some of the popular singers and the music of the day were, of course, the Beatles. Beatlemania had just taken off, and I Want to Hold Your Hand and Love Me Do were two of the songs that were on the charts. Some fun prices and money items are that a house in 64 cost $13,000. The average income was $6,000. Gas was 30 cents a gallon. A new car was $3,500. A stamp on a letter was truly a nickel. Rent was about $115. And to go to the movie, it would set you back $1.25. Can you believe it? And bread was 22 cents. Oh my gosh. Okay, along with that, two of the famous movies during those years were Cleopatra and To Kill a Mockingbird. And on a personal note, in 1964, I was 13 years old. I was living in Jackson, Mississippi, and I was attending Chastain Junior High School. Now, I know it's going to come as a big surprise, but sometimes when I would be in class, the classes would be a bit boring. And so at that time, we had these little paper, peachy notebooks. And in the peachy notebooks, they folded. And then when you open them, they had these two side folds. So you could stuff your school papers in that side, or you could slide your school papers in that side. Well, if you were really lucky, and I was not really lucky, your parents would buy you an Ingenue magazine or a Rave magazine or a, you know, one of those Teen Beat type magazines. And so during class time, when I was in junior high, if you had one of those magazines, you would pass it around. And so we would, even though we looked like we were studious, we would open our peachy folders, but really we would be looking at the celebrities, the young celebrities of the day. And some of the young celebrities of the day that you ladies will be able to relate with: Marianne Faithfull, Jane Asher, Patty Boyd. I had said Jean Shrimpton was one of the models. And there was a really darling model named Colleen Corby that had that perfect little brown flip and those beautiful little doe eyes. And the Marianne Faithfulls, Jean Shrimptons, Jane Ashers, Patty Boyds, they were the gals that were dating the Beatles and the Stones and the Kinks and the Dave Clark Five and the, you name it. They were the hot gals of the time, and they had those bangs that were like to here, and their hair was parted in the middle and straight with this perfect flip that wasn't too flippy and wasn't too straight, and they had that white pale lip going on and those furry top false eyelashes that made their eyes look so dark. And they would wear their go-go boots and their mini skirts, and sometimes they would wear little beanies on their head. And they were just the jet setters, the swingers of the 64 time. And I remember looking at their pictures during class and wondering and thinking and wishing and hoping that, you know, would I ever be able to wear my makeup like that? Would my hair ever go into a perfect flip like that? Just, you know, dissecting every part of them. So before I end the video, I just want to say to my sister-in-law that your wonderful sense of style, your natural beauty, your soft laugh, the way you, the special touch you had in decorating, putting things together, will so be missed. And the fact that it will just be me and the only gal at the cabin is something that really saddens me. So I want you to know that your spirit will always be present in the cabin in Idaho, and in everything and every place that that we go to during our summer times up in the cabin. So with that, until our next conversation, bye-bye.